Have you ever opened your eyes in the early morning light, hearing the quiet hum of the world just beginning again, and thought, what if today is the day something changes? Not something big, not something loud, but something subtle, something so small it slips in unnoticed, like a ripple in the fabric of your morning. That thought, though quiet, is powerful, because what we do in the first hour after waking doesn't just set the tone for the day. It programs the body for youth or decline. And if you're over 60, you might be surprised to hear this. That first hour holds the power to help you live past 90, stronger, sharper, and more alive than you ever thought possible. The story of Walter always returns to me when I speak about this. He wasn't a particularly remarkable man, not by the world's standards anyway. At 65, he'd just retired from decades of quiet work in a small-town post office. His knees were starting to ache. His memory wasn't what it used to be, and he assumed the next chapter would be slow, maybe lonely, maybe filled with doctor's appointments. But then he attended a health seminar by accident, tagging along with a friend who didn't want to go alone. That day, something clicked. It wasn't the science, though that was interesting. It was the simplicity of what he heard. 7 small things you could do in the morning. Things so basic he almost laughed, but something inside him whispered, try. So he did, quietly, consistently. And now Walter is 93. He still lives alone, still drives, still tends the soil in the community garden every weekend. He says it all started with his mornings. Let's begin where Walter did. In silence, in the softness of dawn, in the space before the noise begins. And let's talk about water. Not coffee, not tea, not vitamins. Just water. The kind your body has been begging for all night, even as you slept. You see, while we rest, our bodies work. They digest, repair, regulate, and in doing so, they lose moisture. You may not feel thirsty, but the truth is your blood is thicker than it should be when you wake. Your heart is working harder. Your brain isn't firing as clearly. And that simple glass of room temperature water, yes, just one, is like giving your entire body the signal it's been waiting for. Sylvia, a soft-spoken woman I met last year, told me she used to wake up foggy, with aching kidneys and constant fatigue. Her doctors were considering dialysis. Then on a quiet morning, she decided to change just one thing. She drank 16 ounces of water before getting out of bed. 2 months later, her lab results stunned her doctor. No meds, she said with a smile, just water. Sometimes it really is that simple. If you're still with me right now, it tells me something about you. You're not someone who brushes things off. You care. You're curious. And maybe, just maybe, you're ready to make space for something new tomorrow morning. If that's true, then stay with me. There's more. Let's step outside together. Not metaphorically, really step outside. Within 30 minutes of waking if you can. Even on a cloudy day. Even if you have to sit by a window. Because sunlight isn't just about brightness, it's information. It tells your body, your hormones, your internal clock. It's morning. Let's reset. Let's function. There's something ancient and comforting about sunlight hitting your skin after sleep. For Benjamin, a man who'd battled insomnia for years, nothing worked. Not the pills, not the warm milk, not the breathing apps on his phone. What finally helped? A chair on his porch and 10 quiet minutes with the sun. He said it was the first time in decades he felt his body relax before bedtime. It surprised him that such a small thing could unlock something so big, but it did. And I wonder, when was the last time you greeted the day with your whole body? Not rushing to the kitchen, not checking the phone, but pausing, letting light into your eyes, into your skin, letting it remind you that you're still here and still capable of change. The body is a wise thing, but it needs rhythm, it needs care, and it needs movement. Not exercise, not yet, just movement, gentle, circular, flowing, the kind that wakes up the joints without pain. Harriet, a woman with sharp blue eyes and a fierce love for her grandchildren, once thought she'd never walk without pain again. Arthritis had crept into her knees, and her doctor had scheduled surgery. But her physical therapist, a kind man in his 30s, suggested one change: 7 minutes of movement before breakfast. She thought it was silly at first, But she tried. Ankles, wrists, shoulders, just moving in circles, swaying side to side. 3 months later, her surgeon called off the operation. "It's not magic," she told me. "It's momentum. Before your toast, before your newspaper, before anything else, just move. It doesn't have to look like yoga. It just has to feel like life returning to your limbs." If you've ever stood up in the morning and winced, felt the stiffness in your back, the heaviness in your legs, that's your body pleading for a gentle start. Now, take a breath with me. A full breath, in through your nose. Hold. Out through your mouth, slowly. Again. Feel the shift? That's your nervous system recalibrating. That's your heart rate slowing. That's your body saying thank you. The fourth habit, the one that takes only 30 seconds, might be the most powerful of them all, and you've just had a taste of it. But we'll dive deeper into that in the next part. For now, I want to ask you something gently. Can you see yourself doing just one of these things tomorrow morning? Just one. Not for me. Not even for Walter or Harriet or Benjamin. For you. For the part of you that still wants to dance at a wedding. To walk by the sea. To laugh with your grandchildren without worrying about your knees or your blood pressure or your energy running out by noon. And if you found even one sentence in this video that made you pause, smile, or nod, would you consider sharing it with someone you care about? A sister, a friend, a neighbor? Maybe they've been waking up tired too. Maybe they need this gentle nudge as much as you did. We'll continue soon with the breathing ritual from Sardinia's longest living men, a breakfast shift that reversed diabetes for one man, and a morning conversation trick that might protect your heart more than any pill. See you in the next part. There's something almost sacred about the first breath of the day, not the automatic one your body takes as you wake, but the first intentional breath, the one where you pause, close your eyes, and truly feel the air move through you. In Sardinia, tucked high in the mountains, there lives a shepherd named Matteo. He's 96 years old and still walks his flock up the hillside each morning. No supplements, no strict diet plans. But every morning, without fail, he stands at the edge of his porch, gazes across the valley, and breathes. Slowly, deliberately, in, hold, out, like he's syncing his body with the rhythm of the earth. He once told a visiting researcher, "If I miss my morning breath, my body doesn't know what to do with the day." At first it sounds poetic, even quaint, but science has caught up to Matteo. That kind of breathing, the slow, rhythmic kind, calms the stress response, lowers inflammation, and tells the body, you are safe. And when the body feels safe, it starts to heal. You can try it tomorrow morning, right after your water, maybe while sitting by that sunlit window or out on your balcony. Close your eyes. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold it for 7. Exhale gently through your mouth for 8. Let the sound leave you like a quiet sigh. 3 or 4 times is enough, just 30 seconds. And yet that half a minute could whisper to your body, today is not a battle. Today is a gift. Many people think longevity is about the big things, medications, surgeries, tests. But more and more we're learning it's about the quiet choices, the subtle shifts, the moments when we stop reacting and start guiding. And nowhere is that more evident than in the next moment of the morning, the first thing you eat. Gerald didn't think much about breakfast. Like many of us, he had toast and coffee. Sometimes just coffee. He wasn't overweight. He wasn't particularly unhealthy. But one day his doctor looked him in the eyes and said, "You're on track for diabetes. You've got 2 years." That scared him. But what he did next wasn't drastic. He didn't sign up for a cleanse or a boot camp. He just changed breakfast. Instead of toast, he added eggs. Instead of jam, he spooned chia seeds into plain yogurt with berries. He stopped the coffee first habit and drank water first. That was it. 6 months later, his blood sugar was stable. His doctor couldn't believe it, but Gerald smiled and said, "I just eat differently in the morning." The truth is, breakfast isn't just about energy, it's about chemistry. A meal rich in protein and fiber, something as simple as a couple of eggs and some oats with seeds, can shift your hormones, stabilize your insulin, and tell your cells, we are nourishing, not stressing. And that message gets carried all day long. What you choose at 7 a.m. echoes in your heart by 3 p.m. and in your brain by bedtime. If you've never looked at breakfast as medicine, maybe tomorrow's a good day to start. The beauty is, you're already eating something. It's not about adding more. It's about switching to what heals instead of what harms. And you don't have to get it perfect, just better, a little better, every day. And while we're here in this gentle rhythm of the morning, let's talk about something the world often overlooks: connection. Not texts, not emails, not the background noise of a radio, but real human connection. A voice, a smile, a moment shared. In Okinawa, some of the longest living women on earth begin each day not with vitamins, but with each other. A 5-minute check-in on the porch, a morning laugh, a gentle, "Are you okay today?" One woman, 97 years old, said, "If I don't talk to someone in the morning, the day doesn't settle right." And researchers have found she's not just being sentimental. Morning connection, even if it's just a 2-minute phone call, lowers stress markers, boosts immune response, and, most surprisingly, activates the same biological pathways as physical exercise. Maybe you live alone. Maybe you're not sure who to call. That's okay. Even a kind word with the person handing you your coffee, a good morning to your neighbor, or perhaps you start a ritual with a friend. Every Monday and Friday, we check in. The point is not the length, it's the presence. It's the warmth. Your body recognizes it. Your heart settles into it. If you're still here with me, still reading, still breathing a little deeper, I want to thank you, because it takes courage to look inward, to say, maybe I can live better, longer, happier. And that brings us to one last ritual for this morning, one that's invisible but powerful beyond words. Gratitude. Not vague thankfulness, not a list of things you think you should appreciate. I'm talking about specific, felt, deeply human gratitude, directed inward, toward the body that carries you. Patricia discovered this late. She was 74, struggling with hypertension that just wouldn't budge. She tried medications. Nothing helped much. Then someone told her, try this instead. Every morning, place your hand on your heart and thank your body, 3 parts of it, for what it's done. She felt silly at first, but she did it. Thank you, eyes, for letting me see the faces I love. Thank you, legs, for still carrying me through the day. Thank you, heart, for beating without complaint all these years. She did this every day for a month. At her next checkup, her doctor was puzzled. Her blood pressure had dropped significantly. Her heart rate variability, a sign of heart resilience, had improved. He asked if she'd changed medication. She said no, just her thoughts. Science now confirms what Patricia felt. Directed gratitude rewires the brain, calms the nervous system, reduces inflammation, not because it's magic, but because it shifts how we live inside ourselves. So tomorrow morning, try it. Just 2 minutes, a hand over your chest, a few words of love for the vessel that's still here with you, still breathing, still willing to heal. And if this story has stirred something in you, if your heart feels even a little softer than it did 10 minutes ago, please consider sharing it. Someone you love might be waking up tired, in pain, discouraged. And maybe this is the gentle permission they need to begin again, just like you. Remember Walter? He didn't do all 7 habits at once. He started with 2. The rest came naturally. He just kept showing up for himself every morning, quietly, consistently, lovingly. That's where we begin. And that's how we live into 90. Not just surviving, but still smiling, still strong, still very much alive. If you've made it here, through every word, every breath, every story, then something inside you is already shifting. Maybe it's quiet. Maybe it's not loud enough for the world to notice. But you notice, and that's where it always begins, with you. The truth is, longevity isn't reserved for the lucky. It's not a gift handed down through perfect genes or a reward for avoiding every mistake. It's a conversation between your choices and your biology, between how you treat your mornings and how your body responds across decades. And what we've explored together through the lives of Walter and Sylvia and Matteo and Patricia is not a miracle. It's a pattern, a rhythm, a set of quiet practices that send your body a message, again and again. I care. I'm listening. I want to live well. These aren't habits to follow because someone told you to. They're invitations. Invitations to meet yourself each morning in a new way, with tenderness, with intention, with the belief that it's not too late, not to feel better, not to think clearer, not to walk stronger or love deeper, because it isn't. No matter what the world tells you about getting older, what matters most isn't perfection, it's consistency, it's presence, it's choosing just once more to begin again. Even on the mornings you feel tired, even on the days when it would be easier to skip the water, stay inside and reach for the quick breakfast, even then, especially then, you have the power to choose something better. Walter began with 1 glass of water. That's it. The rest followed because he stayed curious. He didn't ask, "Will this make me live to 90?" He asked, "What might change if I try?" And now at 93, he still gets up before the sun, still walks to the garden, still believes in the power of a good morning. So here's my final question for you. What will your tomorrow morning look like? Will you begin with water and gratitude, with sunlight and breath, with movement and connection? Or maybe, just maybe, you'll start with one of them and let the rest come when you're ready. Because every single one of these practices is a quiet yes to life, a yes to staying longer, stronger, clearer, kinder, not just for yourself, but for the people who love you, for the ones who want you around, for the version of you that still dreams, still hopes, still wants to laugh out loud with joy when you least expect it. If this video touched something in you, if it made you feel seen or hopeful, or even just a little less alone, please share it with someone older, with someone younger, with someone you love. These aren't just morning habits, they're life habits. And we pass them on not just by doing them, but by sharing the stories behind them, like this one. And if you'd like more stories like this, more guidance, more reminders that aging can be powerful, not painful, then click that subscribe button and join us. We're walking this path together, one sunrise at a time. And tomorrow, when you wake up, I hope your body feels your kindness. I hope your heart remembers this moment. And I hope you whisper a soft thank you to yourself because you showed up. And that's the beginning of everything.